Hey, it's us, Melon,
Coda,
and we're here with your pet tip of the month. Now today we're going to talk about identifying your pet. That's in identification that helps us return your pet to you. Dakota, tell them about microchips.
All right, so microchips are little grain, they're like the size of a grain of rice. They are implanted like a vaccine between your dog, cat's shoulder blades, and they give off what's called an RFID frequency. All of our deputies in animal services are equipped with a microchip scanner. So basically when we find an animal, we run the scanner over the animal. We see if they have a microchip. The microchip number will pop up on our screen. We can then run the microchip number in our microchip query. We can find the owner's phone number, owner's address, owner's name and information, and then that way we can get your pet home to you.
Now, North Carolina state law also requires that your pet is vaccinated against rabies. As always, you can contact our office for a rabies appointment. Just know that we can reunite your pet through the rabies vaccination program if they've been vaccinated in Durham County by your tag number. But microchips are the 100% way that if your dog happens to lose his collar with his rabies tag and his ID tag, that microchip is there all the time. So we're able to scan your dog and get your information. Now, it's very important that you keep your information up to date. So if you move or change your telephone number or change your emergency contact, make sure that you contact the microchip company so they can update that information. There's nothing more heartbreaking than us finding a dog with a microchip, but we're not able to reunite him immediately because the information is not current. So keep that information current.
Our goal here at Durham County Animal Services is always to get the animal back to its healthy, loving home. So make sure that if your pet is microchipped, that you keep that information up to date, like Melinda said. And also, talk to your vet about microchips. They're pretty affordable. You can contact the Durham County Animal Protection Society as well. They may be able to give you some information about low cost or affordable microchips so that way we don't have to take your animal
to the clink. All right, this is Melon,
Coda,
signing off with your pet tip of the month. Stay distant.
Would it surprise you to learn that millions of computers in the US are infected with malware? That's a lot of computers. So, what's malware and why should you care? Malware, short for malicious software, includes viruses and spyware that get installed on your computer or mobile device without you knowing it. Criminals use malware to steal personal information and commit fraud. For example, they may use malware to steal the login information for your online accounts, or to hijack your computer and use it to send spam. An infected computer can lead to serious problems like identity theft. The good news? There's a lot you can do to protect yourself and your computer. One of the most important steps you can take: install security software from a reliable company and set it to update automatically. The bad guys constantly develop new ways to attack your computer, so your software must be up to date to work. Set your operating system and your web browser to update automatically too. If you're not sure how, use the help function and search for automatic updates. Don't buy security software in response to unexpected calls or messages, especially if they say they scanned your computer and found malware. Scammers send messages like these to trick you into buying worthless software, or worse, downloading malware. What else can you do? Use a pop-up blocker, and don't click on links and pop-ups. Don't click on links or open attachments in emails, unless you know what they are, even if the emails seem to be from friends or family. Download software only from websites you know and trust. Free stuff may sound appealing, but free downloads can hide malware. Make sure your web browser's security setting is high enough to detect unauthorized downloads. For example, use at least the medium security setting. Even if you take precautions, malware can find its way onto your computer. So be on the lookout for these signs. Your computer runs slowly, drains its battery quickly, displays unexpected errors or crashes. It won't shut down or restart. It serves a lot of pop-ups, takes you to web pages you didn't visit, changes your homepage, or creates new icons or toolbars without your permission. If you suspect malware, Stop doing things that require passwords or personal info, such as online shopping or banking. Use a different computer, maybe one at work or at your local library, to change your passwords. Update your security software and run a system scan. Delete files it flags as malware. If you can't fix the problem on your own, get help from a professional. Your computer manufacturer or internet service provider may offer free tech support. If not, contact a company or retail store that provides tech support. Keep in mind, the most important thing you can do to prevent malware is to keep your computer software up to date. And remember, it's easy to find trusted information about computer security. Just visit onguardonline.gov, the federal government site, to help you stay safe, secure, and responsible online.
To every North Carolinian doing the work to keep us moving forward, thank you. You put on a mask to slow the spread and protect those around you. You found creative ways to stay connected to family and friends. You lent a helping hand to a neighbor in need. Let's keep it up because we're not done just yet. Until enough of us are protected by the vaccine, we need to keep protecting each other.
To keep things from being stolen from your vehicle, don't leave them in your vehicle. Simple, easy preventive measures. Don't leave your items overnight, during the day, 5-10 minutes. Take them in the house, take them in the building, into your office. Just make sure they're secure somewhere else besides your vehicle. If you have to leave something in your car, secure it in your trunk. It's less likely to be seen through a window. If you can't secure it in your trunk, most people have a locking glove box. Put it inside of your glove box that locks, or your center console. Not all of them locked, but at least it's not out in the open, visible, where anyone can walk by and see it. They're looking for easy grabs, book bags, purses. For some reason, people leave laptops, MP3s. They look for weapons. They know people leave weapons in the car. So if you have to leave a weapon in your car, they make boxes where you can securely lock your weapon in the vehicle, unseen. You can always call the police, reference suspicious activity or suspicious person. Do not approach them yourselves. You never know if they're armed or what their intentions may be. Before you go through it, call the police first. Hopefully they're able to get fingerprints off of it, but call the police before you go through your vehicle. If it appears that they've gotten in, 9 times out of 10, they probably did get in and just didn't see anything worth taking. A lot of heavy equipment, especially for construction, is kind of hard to take in and out. If you can secure it down, get lock boxes. A lot of trucks offer toolboxes, lock boxes. If it's big items, get chains. Find ways to secure it down with chains. If you can and you're not able to, then one of the best things you can do is make sure that you have these serial numbers so that if they do get stolen, they can be located if they're pawned or stolen or sold to someone else. Put it up, put it away, keep it out of the public's eye.
I'm a firefighter.
A teacher.
I'm a farmer.
A manager.
I'm a barber.
A waitress.
A student.
A mom.
We're all part of your community. We live in small towns and big cities.
On farmland.
And concrete.
Every day we move in and out of each other's busy lives.
It's easy to take for granted all the little details that make up our everyday.
The morning walk.
That familiar engine firing up.
The bus stop friends.
A hot cup of coffee.
That guy who can never seem to parallel park.
Every day brings surprises.
A flat tire.
Midday traffic.
Bus delays. Again. There's always something unexpected.
And honestly, that's fine.
It's when you experience a moment of uncertainty.
Something you know shouldn't be there.
Or someone's behavior that doesn't seem quite right.
These are the moments to take a pause.
Because if something doesn't feel right, it's probably not.
It's not about paranoia.
Or being afraid.
It's about standing up and protecting our communities.
One detail at a time.
Because a lot of little details can become a pattern.
We
trust our instincts.
Just like you should.
Because only you know what's not supposed to be in your everyday.
We all play a role in keeping our community safe.
So protect your everyday.
If you see something suspicious, say something to local authorities.
I trust the vaccines. I trust the scientists who have come up with a great formula to help defeat COVID-19.
I'm very lucky because my wife and I were able to get the vaccine. If you have an opportunity to get the vaccine, please do it.
Get in the game, get off the sidelines, and get vaccinated. And so it's important for us to take the torch, be the example, and make sure we're doing our part to protect our community.
It's paramount that we all be vaccinated so we can protect each other, and especially our loved ones.
I believe in the vaccine. I believe in our scientists. I believe in the medicine. I took it to protect others and hopefully live longer.
We're going to get through this thing. We got to practice social distancing. We got to wear our masks. You have a spot, take your shot.
You have a spot.
Take your shot.
You have a spot.
Take your shot.
You have a spot. Take your shot.
The writ of possession is at the very end. All of this starts with one, in the case of rent not being paid, the rent isn't paid. There's some communications going between the landlord and the tenant about, hey, where's my rent? And then you get this notice to vacate. And then once you don't vacate, the landlord can go and file a summary ejectment proceeding, which is another way of saying filing a court case against you saying you owe me this money, you have not paid your rent, I want you evicted out of my property. And usually that's going to be in small claims court before a magistrate.
Well, your rent notice is basically a magistrate summons with a complaint and summary ejectment attached to it. That comes from the clerk's office to the sheriff's office, and what that is basically the notification for the hearing for the landlord to start the procedure to get their property back. We'll receive those from the clerk's office. The deputies will take those and they will attempt to make contact with the defendant or defendants that's listed on the magistrate summons. If we can't make contact, we will post, as statute allows, for the court date. And once that is returned, they have been served for their court date. Once we've served it, they'll have to call the court. If they don't understand something about it, that would fall more under calling the clerk's office to find out if there's any discrepancy about the court date or if there's any problem that they may have with the court date. They would need to contact the clerk's office because we're actually just serving notice of the court date.
That's the first part where we're involved. Only thing we're doing is serving the paperwork just like any other lawsuit. Then you go before the magistrate, the landlord presents evidence, you can present evidence, or the renter can present evidence, a decision is entered. You have a right to appeal that decision to the district court. If you appeal it, there's some procedures involved with that. And then if you lose that appeal, or if you don't appeal it or contest it, what you're going to have is a judgment being entered against you. And that's when the writ of possession comes involved.
Once the sheriff's office receives the writ of possession for real property, the first thing that's done is a notification will be sent out of the date of the eviction to the defendant or the defendants. Second thing we do is we're going to notify the plaintiff of the date and time that we'll be out there to facilitate the padlock. Once the deputy arrives on scene, the property will be taken from the defendant, turned over to the plaintiff. The defendant will be served the paperwork if they're there, but we're there to take custody of the property from the defendant and turn it back over to the plaintiff as the court has ordered.
Really, the legal process is the entire court case before writ of possession is requested by a landlord and delivered to the sheriff for execution. Writ of possession is basically carrying out the judgment of a court. Just like if you were sued for a motor vehicle accident or some other small claims proceeding, when the judge enters a decision, it becomes a judgment, and then you go collect on the judgment. And then once it is issued by the clerk of court, it's delivered to the sheriff for execution. The reason why the sheriff's office is involved is because when someone is moved out of their property, it's a very tense situation, and the sheriff is involved to make sure that it's a peaceful transfer of property.
As in all civil process, the sheriff's office is just enforcing the court order. The court order is that the plaintiff is to receive their property back. The deputy will go out there, the property will be taken out of the defendant's possession, placed back with the plaintiff as the court has ordered, and we're there to also make sure that that's a peaceful transition during that process.
But the law requires the sheriff to do this, and in fact, if the sheriff doesn't do it, he could be sued. So you should really take some steps right at the beginning of all of this, when you first have difficulty with paying your rent. Because when it gets to the sheriff's office, it's too late. So what can you do? In several communities throughout the state of North Carolina, including Durham, there are rent assistance programs. North Carolina, along with the United Way, has developed what's called NC 211. If you pick up the phone and dial 211, you're connected to a resource hotline, and you can tell them what your problems are, whether it's paying rent, paying your mortgage, making utility payments, need of food, and they can connect you with resources in your community. Here in Durham, you have the legal clinic at North Carolina Central. You may also have law clinics over at UNC, Duke, over in Raleigh at Campbell, where you can get some free legal advice. You have Legal Aid of North Carolina, but if you go to their website, they have literature on there on what the eviction process is, what is a summary ejectment, what you should present to court. Can you get out of it? Can you pay your rent? Can you settle this? What to do if you want to get into a settlement. Here at the Sheriff's Office, we know about the process, but we can't give you legal advice. State government is well aware of the effects of the COVID-19 pandemic on individuals, and so there's some relief efforts being made. And so really what I'm saying is that the solution to a lot of this is before you get to the writ of possession. There are community organizations out there that will help you with rent assistance. The General Assembly, which is our state legislature, is looking at some solutions. Our local officials may be looking at some solutions. Churches may be available. So when you get into that situation of not being able to pay your rent, making utility payments, not being able to put food on your table, oftentimes we panic, we become concerned, and that is the moment where you don't close yourself in. That's when you need to go ahead and ask for the help that may be out there. Because if you act quickly and at the beginning of the process, you won't get into the court system and you wind up staying in your home. Because by the time it gets to the sheriff's office with the writ of possession, there's not much, if anything, that can be done, and our hands are tied.
Falling behind on your bills? Even if you owe more than you can handle, you still have rights. Most legit debt collectors follow the rules, but bad debt collectors don't. They break the law. So if you get a call like this,
if you don't pay, we will have you arrested and deported.
Or this
is your final warning. Pay up now or we'll contact your employer and make them pay.
Hang up and report it to the Federal Trade Commission. You have the right to be treated fairly no matter what. That means debt collectors can't use abusive language, threaten violence, or harass you. Or call you before 8 in the morning or after 9 at night. They can't lie or pretend to be someone they're not.
I'm an attorney and will take legal action if you don't pay this debt right away.
Or get you to pay a debt that doesn't even exist. They can't have you arrested or deported or tell anyone about your debt. Bad debt collectors like to knock you off your guard to get an advantage, create a sense of urgency, and rush you. They'll say anything to get you to pay right now. Instead, hang up and report it to the Federal Trade Commission at ftc.gov/complaint. We've stopped a lot of bad debt collectors. Help us stop more. For more information about debt collection, visit consumer.gov/debt.
Today, with the Durham County Sheriff's Office Scope Unit, we decided we can go out to 85 northbound the Coleman Road and do some speed enforcement. And today we went out, stopped some cars, wrote some citations, gave some verbal warnings, and also assisted on a 1050 PI, which is a personal injury wreck as well.
Okay. And why is this important? Like, why do we do this? Why?
Well, the thing is, for speed enforcement, it drops the number of property damage, risk of drivers going too fast, causing injuries to personal equipment, to the person, to themselves, and to vehicles. Okay. So it's a win-win for us.
Okay. Last question is, you do this all over the county too, right?
Yes, sir.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
like where?
We work both the Durham City and Durham County. We do Highway 85 northbound, southbound lanes, Highway 70 east and westbound lanes, and Durham Freeway north and southbound lanes. And we also do local roadways as well when we have speeding complaints from citizens.
As a small business, we're looking forward to people being able to come back into the store. And
we would love to have everyone come in and shop the way that they used to be able to.
We want to be responsible to not only ourselves, but to people we don't even know.
If folks are going to choose to spend their dollars with us, then the least that I can do is participate in what it takes to vaccinate.
We are really optimistic about the effect the vaccines are going to have. People want to treat themselves. The craft beer movement and the craft food movement can go hand in hand, and it's all about giving yourself something special.
That desire to shop and to get out there in the stores is very strong for a lot of people.
When we do this, we're making a statement that my individual discomfort is not anything to be compared to community safety.
You have a spot. Take your shot.
You have a spot?
Take your shot.
Durham County Sheriff's Office, where's your emergency? Okay, we'll get deputies on the way.
Y'all doing this morning? Come on through.
I'm Durham County Sheriff Clarence Burkhead, and we want you to join our team. Honor, duty, service. If you have what it takes, our recruiting starts now.